Hello, hello, Margarita Alcantara here. Welcome to the Rise Up with Margarita show. And every week on Mondays at 2 p.m., I do a live where I really bring forth a discussion, a really powerful, important topic for light workers who are ready to rise up. And so that's literally the title of my show, Rise Up with Margarita. And it's because we are being called forward as light workers to really rise up now. And so I'm here to provide you tools, important discussion to really help you do exactly that. So welcome, welcome if you're just joining us now. And so today's topic is this is a wake up call from my heart to yours. So, this was really based on a post that I did just a few days ago. I knew it would be polarizing. I knew that there would be a lot of strong reactions to it, but it was really important for me to really show up in my authenticity and to really give a wake up call to you, beloved light workers, so that you could really be equipped with what's going on right now. So, and that's the only reason why I'm sharing it right now. So, today's topic, it's a little different. Hi, Dale, good to see you here. And seeing folks jumping in as well. So, saying hello to you, beautiful folks. And so, like I said, today's topic is going to be probably somewhat polarizing for some folks, especially in the spiritual community, because it's something that does not get talked about in the spiritual community, but it is important because otherwise you're just basically spiritually bypassing the whole experience that we're having as a collective on the planet. And so, hey, Sabina, good to see you here. So it's really important that I speak into it. And as such, I am also going to stay focused on the topic, just in case there are a lot of really powerful opinions that folks come up with or whatever. It's fine that you have that, but also know that I'm going to be staying on point with today's topic. So today is going to be a wake-up call from my heart. It was important for me to share this with you because it's important to me that you are equipped, like I said before, right? And because we are in a very powerful time right now. It is not for the faint of heart, and for light workers, starseeds, empaths, highly sensitive people, those who are here to really be empowered in their light, in their divine power. It is your time now. This is that prophesied time that we have read about, researched about for eons and eons, right? The time is now. And so I'm going to share what we are really experiencing on a collective level, what this wake up call is that I have for you, and also what you can do to be in your power during all of this. And so this is something that I wanted to make sure I shared with you today. So, first of all, here's what we're really experiencing on the collective level. So, you might have been feeling like things are intense. I mean, we do have a solar flare going on, a lot of plasma waves streaming in. And even if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, that's totally fine. Your higher self connects with that and knows and is connected to that, right? So, this is a really powerful time where everyone in the planet is being invited to step into their ascension path. And what is really going on right now as a result is that we are in a war, right? And, a lot of people think, especially the spiritual community, think it is a war on your health and our economic system and other things as well, right? There's a lot going on right now on the planet, right? That's not a news flash. But the thing is that it's not a war on our health or our consciousness or our economics. I was already stepping into that future that future sentence I wanted to share with you, which is this is a war on our consciousness. So there's a lot of distraction going on. There's actually going to be a lot more than what we're seeing right now that will feel like distraction, which will actually be distraction, which some may not even notice is distraction, but it is. And the weapon that is being used in this war is fear. And that is why I'm always talking about, really going deep into your fear, understanding what it's about, even embracing it, allowing yourself to transmute it, doing whatever work internally you get to do in order to transmute your fear. Because here is the thing, if you do not, and I'm not going to get too deep into the, this whole experience of what happens if you don't, right? But if you do not clear all that stuff around your fears, whatever that is, fear, for a lot of light workers, there's a lot of fear of being seen, a lot of fear of being heard, a lot of fear of stepping up higher, a lot of fear of being seen and being visible. For others, there's this fear of I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not worthy to be doing this work, this really big work. Sometimes it's this fear of like I'm unlovable kind of thing, or like I'm abandoned, or I will be abandoned, or those kinds of things. Those are all connected to fear, right? Because it's not like they're true, right? You're not truly incapable. You're not truly unlovable, right? Like that may be a concern, a fear that you may have based on some past experiences in this lifetime or past lifetimes. But, it's not the truth, right? Like, I mean, even if I don't know you personally, I can tell you that's not your truth. To be unlovable, to be abandoned, and all this other stuff, right? No matter what our personal experience has been, this is our time to transmute these fear patterns within ourselves, and I've had to do that too. In terms of like all the deep stuff, right? All the stuff that really could get you. And here's why this is important, because if you don't, this is where your energy leaks out, and this is where you get manipulated by the darker forces. And so I'm not going to go, like I said, too deep into that mechanism and that understanding, but I know that from your heart, what I'm talking about, right? That when you are not loving yourself, when you are choosing fear, because here's the thing, you're either choosing fear or you're choosing love, either one or the other, and it really is that simple, each and every moment, even just like from what we're wearing, it's like, am I choosing this out of fear or love, right? Like, does it make me feel joyful? Do I feel radiant in it, right? Like if you're trying to choose your outfit for the day, or are you afraid that if you wear this, it might appear a certain way, right? That's even fear. So every single choice you make is either based on fear or love. And the more that you keep choosing from a place of love, it's like a muscle, you strengthen it. And so, and when you don't take ownership, and here's the other piece too, and I'm just going to mention this once, right? When you don't take ownership of your power, something else does, okay? You're giving your power away if you are acting from a place of fear. And of course, when you are trusting your intuition truly, you know the difference between your fear and your intuition. And that's why really having an understanding about your fear and what you get to clear around that is so important, because there are a lot of invisible light workers who are not yet visible, who are not yet in their power, who are thinking that their fear is their intuition when it's just simply fear, right? So this is the times we're living in right now. And, so it's really this piece around this being a spiritual war, and the prize is your consciousness. The weapon is fear. And so notice, and this is just kind of like a little bonus tip. I'm not even getting into the tips yet, but like here's a bonus tip. When you want to make sure whether or not you are coming from a place of fear or a place of love, notice where you're getting distracted. Notice where you get caught off balance. Notice when those moments happen, right? Because usually when you notice these areas of distraction for yourself, because we're all different and we all have like specific understandings of, what we are experiencing right now. And so what may be off kilter for you may not be the same for another person. So just notice when you start to come out of your power, when you start to get distracted by something else. And I'm not just only speaking about the shiny objects that you're noticing in the world, right? Or something that you're noticing. It's really all this stuff that is distracting you from your power that is happening in the world. Okay, so I'm talking about all the stuff that they're like, because there's more. And that's why this is an urgent thing for me to tell you right now, because this is not the pinnacle of the experience. Okay, there's more coming down the pipeline. And I want you to be prepared, not from a place of scarcity or fear, but from a place of really knowing who you are and really being in your sovereignty, because that's really what is going to ground you while you move through these moments and as we move through this as a collective. Okay. And so, why I'm talking about this now is because things are unfolding rapidly. And I want you to be prepared and, like I said before, equipped to really be connected to your divine power so that you don't get blindsided, so that you don't get effectively distracted from your power. Because remember, your power belongs to you, it doesn't belong to anyone else. So, I've told this story before where I was, kind of assistant coaching on this live event. And one of the participants came up to me and she was kind of talking about something she experienced in her past. And she was like, yeah, that person took my power from me, right? And I said something that, was true. And it was a tough pill to swallow. But I told her, no one takes your power from you unless you give it away to them. And that's the truth about power, right? Is that it belongs to you. But whether it be consciously or subconsciously, we give our power away to situations, people, organizations, the government, right? Like all types of ways we can give our power away. And sometimes we're aware of it. Sometimes we have no idea of that. And so that's what I mean about noticing when you get distracted, noticing when you get off course. Sometimes there's like one thing that may happen, but if you notice it enough, you'll notice that it's a pattern. So maybe if someone says something specific, that could be triggering, and that could be a pattern for you. If you experience a specific situation, that might be triggering for you, and that might become a pattern where you notice that you get caught off balance, where you get a little distracted from what you're here to create in the world, right? So that's how you start noticing these things. You just start noticing when things are off, right? And this is about you starting to really connect with your intuition even more deeply. Whatever you think you know about your intuition, trust your intuition in a radical way now. Trust your intuition in a radical way now. Because the thing is, your intuition is going to get tested. You are going to be tested. I mean, if you're not already, right? Like we've all been tested this past year. And it's going to be continuing. It's going to be actually increasing and intensifying. And I'm going to just give it to you straight. When you are stepping into your power, when you are embodied in your power, you can actually ride the wave that we are experiencing right now. And it's going to swell. This wave is going to swell, right? But if you are embodied in your power, you get to ride that wave. Me and Stacy were talking about it. Stacy's my beloved twin flame, and we were talking about it yesterday even. And this whole thing around riding this wave. And to share this with you, on the 8/8 portal, which is a really powerful portal time, the Lion's Gate, the pinnacle of the Lion's Gate time on 8/8, I held a special activation and I shared a special message there that I think I've shared, since then, but I'm going to share it with you now because it's relevant to this topic. And the message is, because I touch base with Gaia on a daily basis. And, and when I touched base with her the night before the portal activation, I asked her, do you have any message for everybody? And so what she said was, I forgot her exact words, but it was something to the effect, okay, this is what she was sharing. She actually showed me her blueprint of her new grid. So, she's got a grid, just like we have meridians running through our bodies. She's got meridians running through our bodies, her body. And so she actually has a new grid that came online just recently, like between the Lion's Gate and now. And so she actually showed me a blueprint of her new grid. And I'm like, why are you showing this to me? And she said, you need to tell them that they need to connect with me if they want to, kind of have a smooth ride, so to speak, right? Because what she is experiencing, Gaia, just like you, is experiencing ascension. And she is upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. And that's why, for those of you who are monitoring the Schumann resonance, it has been increasing, increasing, and increasing, and it's not stopping, right? And that's because she's growing, she is ascending, she is expanding in her consciousness. And for her, that looks like new grid works are coming online. And I actually helped activate those participants who were there at the live event onto that new grid. And those who are not kind of moving with her are going to get left behind in a way that and so here's what that mechanism looks like. You can either be embodied in your power, like I said, ride the wave of this higher frequency that's coming in and coming in and coming in. It's going to keep rising, folks. Or you can fight it. You can resist your power. You can resist yourself. You can resist being in unity with a collective. You can resist who you are and your authentic self and your powerful light in this world and your mission and maybe even your purpose. And all of those things will keep you from being balanced on that wave. In fact, you might even get overtaken by that wave. And how that might look like on the physical realm, on the earthly realm, is, suffering, pain and suffering, just to put it blankly. And so I want you to really be prepared so that you are riding that wave, right? And so here are 3 things you can do to ride that wave, to be in your power as all of this is developing. Number 1, reclaim all of your power. And so anywhere where you have given your power away, and you'll notice this when you get scattered. If you get scattered, after speaking with someone or after being in a specific situation, or if you're just feeling scattered in general, you have, maybe maybe you could get some sleep, right? But usually if you're scattered in your energy, it's because you've given it away on some level, right? So notice how you're feeling right now. That's how you kind of locate if you have given away your power or not. Notice if you are feeling scattered, kind of out of it, not connected to yourself. And most likely, if you're feeling any of those things, but especially feeling scattered, then most likely you have given your power away on some level, whether it be consciously or subconsciously. And so one way you can call your power back to you, and there are many ways to do this effectively, but one of my favorite ways is to actually put your hands over your solar plexus chakra, which is about 2 inches above your navel. And this is your power center. If you have been checking out some of my lives, you know that your heart is always that center of your power, connecting you with your divine self, your higher self, even your avatar self. And your solar plexus is that power center. So anywhere where you've given your power away, usually it comes from there. Or if you have issues around control, whether you are trying to be controlling or you're experiencing feeling controlled over, by someone or something, that's usually happening also at the solar plexus chakra. And so, not surprisingly, the physical manifestation of a lot of this solar plexus chakra imbalance can look like eating disorders, can look like digestive issues, literally not being able to digest our surroundings, right? So you would actually place your hands over your solar plexus chakra, and it's helpful if you're standing with 2 feet planted on the ground. You can also be seated with your spine aligned and your feet planted on the ground. And then you would just simply say 3 times, really meaning it too. That's really important. You have the intention behind it, and you say, and you can join me and do this with me if you like. You would say 3 times, I call all of my power back to me. So if you want to join with me, we can do that together. And so connecting with yourself, I call all of my power back to me. I call all of my power back to me. I call all of my power back to me. And so really making sure that each sentence you say, you really mean it. Even if like something just happened 5 minutes before this show, right? Like that you tap in and you transmute that immediately and allow yourself to be present with that statement. If you're a highly sensitive person, if you're highly empathic, you will actually be able to feel all of your energies, your frequencies, your power coming back into your body. So almost kind of like shoop, 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 just like kind of entering back into your system, right? Because here's the thing, when it comes to your power, it belongs to you. And even if you give it away, it still belongs to you, so you can always call it back. So that's really, really important. So for those of you who are just joining now, today's topic is this is a wake up call from my heart to yours. And then I already shared what that wake up call is about this being a spiritual war, not a war on your health or economics or anything else. This is really about the prize being your consciousness, excuse me, and the weapon being fear. And so staying focused on this topic, I really wanted to give you some background on this and then also give you some tools about how you can be in your power during this. So one of the bonus tips that I shared was really allowing yourself to connect with anything that you're noticing where you're getting distracted. Anywhere where you're getting distracted is where you're giving your power away. And you can notice when you've given your power away because you will get scattered. You will feel scattered. You'll kind of be all over the place, right? And so that's one of those main signs that you've given your power away. And so I just taught a technique of how to reclaim your power back to you. So if you're just coming in now, you can just replay that. Step 2, start questioning what the collective is being spoon-fed to believe. And so that is really, really important because there is so much going on right now. There's so much intentional distraction being inserted into the collective right now. And a lot of people in the spiritual community are falling for it. And I don't want that to be you, because you deserve to be focused, on mission, fulfilled in your purpose, living your best life, not only feeling joyful and fulfilled, but also really helping people. Because I know that when you're a light worker and you're here to really embody your purpose, and you're here to really be empowered. So when you make that transition from invisible light worker to empowered light worker, you're actually stepping up as a warrior of light. And so that's something that I really want you to know, because when you are, because I mean, it's just happening, right? Like I know you can feel it. I know you're highly sensitive. My clients were even sharing this with me last week, how they were like, oh my God, it's so intense. It's also intense, right? And the way you address this is you stop getting distracted. Stop choosing the fear, because that's the weapon that's being used in this war on your consciousness, in this spiritual war. The tool, the weapon is fear. So transform your fears. Get aware of your fears, where you're holding them, why you're resisting healing them, and then heal them. Heal them. Because not only, do you require that so you can be in your power, but also it'll just feel awesome. You'll just feel so, so much better when you do that. And you'll also realize that the things that you are most afraid of is actually very much connected to your authentic power. So the number one tip that I was providing so far is reclaim all of your power, and I gave you an exercise on that. Then number 2, start questioning what the collective is being spoon-fed to believe. So develop critical thinking about what you're being fed. Like me personally, the way I do that, the way I choose to do that, is I actually don't even watch the news from mainstream outlets anymore. I just don't, because it's all fear programming. It's all fear matrix. And so you may choose, that may look different for you, and that's your choice, right? This is part of why sovereignty is so important, is so that you're choosing from a place of alignment and authenticity and love and true light, right? Rather than fear. And so developing critical thinking of what the general public is believing, that's healthy. It's healthy for you to question that. It's healthy for you to develop critical thinking about what you're being spoon-fed in the world, you know? And then number 3, and I mentioned this a little bit before already, stop choosing fear and remember that your power comes from within you, not outside of you. So, like I know I talk about activating the new codes of power. I'm here to be part of activating the new paradigm for humanity by actually activating other people's divine power codes on the DNA level. That's my jam. I'm actually an activator of this stuff. And that said, your power already resides within you. I just hasten it. I just accelerate it. I just wake it up. I just wake up your divine power on the cellular level. And it's very quick, right? Versus, something that can take many years. Because, that's what I ended up doing in the beginning is that, I took like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, probably more, to be honest, to really step in my power. But that's not needed anymore. That is old paradigm. The old paradigm is connected to everything needing to take time, everything needing to be slow, not believing in yourself, putting yourself down, thinking that power, money, the economy, what's around you is not for you, or it's part of, manipulation or greed or all that stuff. Like back in the day, it was, yes. But that paradigm is dead. It really is. The old paradigm, like, something I've mentioned before is that a lot of spiritual people in the community, they talk about the old paradigm as if it still exists. They talk about the capitalist patriarchy as if it still exists. It's been crumbling. It's been crumbling. And so we all get to shift into the new grid where we get to actually be plugged into the new matrix now instead of being stuck in the old matrix and believing all the fear and how incapable you are and yada yada, right? Because the truth is that once you start to truly accept that you are a divine being, you actually don't see yourself as limited on any level, on any level. And so, when I first spoke about this topic, about this really being a spiritual war and that the weapon is fear and that the prize is your consciousness, I received a lot of different comments, and some of them were, I agree with you, that's amazing. And there were a bunch of people who were like, they thought I had lost it, they thought I went off the deep end. And they made sure I knew about it too. And I even lost a ton of followers on that, And the reason I share that part with you is because a lot of light workers who are on social media, and I'm just putting this in because this is an observation I noticed and this will help you. A lot of light workers, spiritual people in the community get really attached to the numbers or what's called the vanity matrix. Metrics, excuse me. Interesting choice of words, the vanity matrix, right? Because they get really caught up in like, well, how many people are following me? How many people are liking this, right? Rather than being more concerned about what is the message that I'm saying, right? And so when I got all those unfollows after that post on Thursday, I was actually very grateful. And Lynn Louise Larson is saying, but the ones here for the transformation stayed with you. Right on, mic drop. Mic drop, that's totally a mic drop moment. That's true, because that's actually what happened. And that's what happens when you are a spiritual being showing up on purpose, showing up as the light worker you are, on purpose, on mission, knowing that you've got something really important to say, right? Because, light workers, they sometimes think, oh yeah, I'll just hang out here on the sideline and, just kind of watch. Those times are over, folks. Those times of watching from the sidelines is over. And it is time for you to shine, to be seen, be heard, even when it's scary. And I know how that feels because I started, everyone starts off that way, right? And so here's why I was really grateful for losing all those followers And I shared this with you because, like, I mean, even in the post of when I shared why I was grateful for those unfollows, I even got a comment on that post from someone who's like, yeah, well, I'm glad you said that because I don't really have that many followers yet, said somebody. And so it really pinched when I was speaking my authentic truth and I lost a bunch of followers, because she doesn't really have a big following just yet. And here's what I told her is what I'm going to tell you. Thank God. Okay. Thank God those people left, right? Because what they're doing is they blessed you with a gift of, letting themselves, you know, off your account to open up the energy for those who are ready to receive your wisdom, your light, your information. And so it's actually a blessing. So don't get too hooked on the whole, people aren't following you and all that stuff. Because I know some people, spiritual people do, especially when you're really starting out in the beginning. You get really hooked on all that. Don't get too hooked up on that. Don't. And it's this whole practice on attachment, right? Where can you allow yourself to not be attached to how you expect things to look like or in order to get, right? Because once you start doing that, you are not showing up in service. So that's the whole thing too. Even here, showing up on social media, I'm not showing up so that I can get something from people, right? Like you show up with a message, with what's channeled, what's coming through you as this divine channel of God, and you just show up, right? You show up with a message, and because it's not about you, right? When you're really a light worker who's here to make a difference in the world, it's not about you and how crappy your hair looks that day, right? Because believe me, I've had bad hair days, and I'm just like, whatever, like, I mean, it is what it is, and here I am, and I'm going live now, and because no one really, like, at the end of the day, here's another secret: no one cares about, what you're wearing, or if you're having a wardrobe malfunction, or your hair looks weird that day, or no one cares. What they care about is if you are showing up and if you're connecting with them, right? That's what they care about. And if you're helping them, right? So it's really about showing up with the greater vision, right? Because I work with, really powerful, empowered light workers who are already connected to their purpose and their heart power. And so it's something where they're already visionary. They already know that there's like this vision that they have, that they want to accomplish, and that kind of transcending this discomfort of, let's say, showing up on camera, showing up in front of their iPhone or their phone or whatever. That is really what that's about, right? And whenever you choose to show up in service and be like, okay, I know that, I didn't get enough sleep the last night before, or, whatever the dialogue is that you're having internally, and you still show up anyway, you're actually anchoring in that higher frequency timeline into the new matrix by showing up and doing your thing, right? By being you and being light. So I hope this helped. And so today's topic, just to do a quick recap, the topic was, this is a wake-up call from my heart to yours, because it indeed is. For some of you who have been doing the inner work for quite some time and who are really tapping into the true frequency of your divine power, like many of you might already know this. Some folks may not, wherever you're at, perfectly fine. And at the same time, get on board, right? Like as Gaia said, they need to connect with her, meaning Gaia, so that you can ride the wave with her, so that you don't get left behind. Because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be unfolding in the next couple of months that is going to be even more intense than what we're currently experiencing, believe it or not. And we as a collective, when we are tapped into our divine power, we are unstoppable. You are unstoppable when you connect and are embodied in your divine power. And I don't mean just feeling good on a certain day, right? It's like I'm talking about embodying your divine power on the God level, right? Because each and every one of you has this. I have it, you have it, every single person on this planet has it. but not a lot of people are aware that they have it. So when you tell them that they are divine and that they too are God, they give you a very strong reaction. And that's okay. Here's the thing, when you're an empath, and I love this share from Motley Odd. The limit does not exist. Exactly. When you're truly connected to your divine self, you are truly unlimited, or should I say, you are aware that you're truly unlimited, because we are truly unlimited, each and every one of us. But, once you start thinking, oh, I don't have access to that, or I'm not worthy of that, I'm not lovable enough for that, I'm not powerful enough for that, I don't have enough money for that, right? All of those are lies, because all of that, even the money, all of that is energy. And when you are truly a light worker, and many light workers do healing work, and they're actually have got a high light quotient and here to really bring about change in the world and actually taking action, and they're going beyond the love and light thing, because love and light is nice, but it means nothing if you're not actually applying something, right? It doesn't mean anything if you're not applying yourself, if you're not actually taking action on the love and light. And so that's really also a big piece of what differentiates invisible light workers from empowered light workers. Invisible light workers are still just stuck in the whole love and light, and then they just stay there, right? And then they feel like they're, and they're afraid of being visible and that kind of thing, right? Whereas when you're an empowered light worker, you still feel those fears that you may have, right? But you lead in service anyway, and you get clear on your purpose even more, and you show up in service, and you're taking action on a regular basis that is extremely uncomfortable. So that can also look like, really showing up, visibly, whether that be posts or videos or lives or whatever, that would be very extremely uncomfortable, but would actually bring you out of your comfort zone and really help you be of service to your people. So, yeah. Davis J is saying love and light can be so limiting in that sense. I'm glad this is being discussed so that love and light can be truly expansive. Absolutely. Because it's not that I'm not like, poo-pooing on love and light, because I'm all about that, right? But true love and light is about really being the light, really being the love, really taking a stand, even when other people think that you're insane. Because that's a lot of that is going on right now, right? And I thought that was actually going to be something that I was going to get, and I did get that on some level. But it got kind of what's the word? It got kind of drowned out by all the positive feedback, which I was actually surprised about. But either way, I wasn't attached to what could occur. And when you're an empowered light worker, you're actually leading with that. You're not like, oh, I'm not going to say this thing that I'm really being called to say because I'm afraid that people might not like it, or people will think I'm insane or crazy, or they'll disagree with me, or they'll judge me, or they'll whatever, right? Because here's the thing, whether or not you're visible, you're getting judged anyway, right? Just walking down the street, if someone sees you, they're judging you already. You might as well be getting judged being authentically yourself. And you've got a really powerful purpose that is bigger than you. And when you can wrap your head around that what you have to create in this world is bigger than you and bigger than your fears even, that gives you courage to step up. So I hope this helped today. I know that, for this can be a very polarizing topic, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And, I'm sharing it with you because what's more important is that you hear it. You hear this message today, because I want you to ride that wave with the collective. And when you do that inner work, to clear your fears, you get more connected to your power, you understand what your triggers are, and then you can actually clear those triggers, right? Not to say that you're going to be completely void of any fears whatsoever in your life, right? Because that's not what being empowered means. It means that you are aware that those fears are around, but they are checked. You check your fears instead of them checking you. You take ownership of your life instead of your fears running your life. Allow your power, your divine self, the truth of who you are to align with you, right? Yeah, interesting. I love that observation, Monica Singh. She says, our own family, parents judged us. We need to move on by cutting the attachment. Whatever you need to do, right? Because we are in this time, it's not a time for division. It's not a time to be like, oh, this person's terrible, or I'm better than this person, or this person's better than me, or any of that. That's all division. This is a time for unification, and unification outside begins with unification inside. And that's what being in your divine power is about. Because that means that literally when you're connected to your divine power, you understand the imprint of the code of oneness. And that's actually a code that, I activate also because I carry that code. I carry the new codes of power and the new codes of oneness and the consciousness of oneness. And so, I shared with you some of the ways that you can be in your power in order to ride this wave. And what I also didn't mention, but of course is also very applicable here, is that you can also just get activated into it, right? And, as I activate the power codes on the DNA level, that's something that you can access very quickly. Like literally during, the deeper work that I do with my private clients, you can actually get activated very quickly. It happens on the DNA level. It upgrades, your organs, your physical form. It also upgrades your brain. It upgrades your whole being into light technology. And then you're basically online in the new matrix after this deeper work. And so, but it's quick. It doesn't have to take like the 5-10 years or whatever it normally takes of the personal self-discovery, which you can choose to do if you want. But it's really about, can you wait like a couple years? Can you wait 5 or 10 years in order for you to step into your purpose and to really make a difference in the world? Or do you want to make a difference in the world now? So, I mean, that choice is yours. Eva's like, your message is so powerful that my video keeps pausing. Yeah, sometimes that happens, for two reasons. Either like one is that the energy and the frequency is so high and quick that it can actually, I don't want to say interfere with the electricity, but it can kind of like interact in a different way. Also, sometimes depending on who's experiencing it or what the message is about, sometimes there can be some energies that are trying to distract you from getting the message, if you know what I mean. So I love that Eva is still here, even though the video keeps pausing. And so anyway, I hope that helped you. Melanie Johnson is sharing, thank you for being in your power so you can guide us into ours. Yeah, I'm a guide, right? Like I'm a guide. I'm also a coach and a mentor and an activator and a healer on many different levels. And I'm here for you, right? Because we are in this together. This is not about me, and this is not about, being individual and being like me first and all that stuff, right? That's old paradigm. All this stuff of like me, look how amazing I am. That's old paradigm. New paradigm, community, oneness. We can do this, right? And Eva's using this word that needs to be in the American vocabulary, which is abso-merfly. And it's just so powerfully descriptive to the immensity of this, right? If you can imagine, like, let me just give you this parting thought, okay? If you can imagine yourself in your most divine form, making the biggest impact you're here to make in the world, helping people, seeing their faces transformed as a result of your work, being abundant in your wealth, because you keep showing up and showing up for humanity. Just imagine how that feels in your body. Imagine what that even looks like. Like, notice all the faces of relief and joy and even tears of joy of your clients because you stepped up and you said, here, I have this offering that would help you. And then they said yes. And I share that with you because too many spiritual people, too many light workers do not do that. They don't make the offers. They don't say, here's something that you can invest in yourself so that you can upgrade because I've got this knowledge and wisdom to help you transform quickly, right? And I know what I'm talking about because I know that you know that transformation you're connected to in yourself. But if you aren't offering that to your ideal client, to your people, you are not making impact and you just simply have a very expensive hobby. And you probably heard that saying before, right? If you're not actually, making a sale, you're not offering your work to people, you just have a very expensive hobby. And that is another bitter pill to swallow, but it's something that I just wanted to share with you because that's really important for you to know, is that I don't want you to be just having an expensive hobby. I want you to be thriving. I want you to be riding that wave with us, with the collective, right? So that we can really be embodied in our oneness together and rising up as a collective. And you do that by doing your work because nothing outside gets changed if you don't change yourself within. And I think maybe change might be not the word that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the transformation, right? When you upgrade and up level yourself within, and you do that inner work that you are afraid to do, and you step up and do it. And my private clients who invest in the work, that deeper transformation work with me, they get it. They get that transformation work, right? And it's instant, it's quick, and it's powerful. And that stuff is gone, right? So if this work would resonate for you, if you are a light worker, a spiritually conscious entrepreneur who knows you're here to change the world and you'd like to be supported and you already know what your purpose is, you're already connected with your heart and you're ready for the next level and you're ready to invest in that deeper transformation work with me and you're even just curious about what that could look like, then I invite you to DM me. And we can talk about it and we can even, hop on a phone call together and really explore what it is that you want and what you desire to create in the world. Because you get to make it. You get to create what you're here to create, So you're welcome, everyone. If you're just joining us right now, the topic today was, this is a wake-up call from my heart to yours. I talked about what that wake-up call was. I talked about why I'm talking about it right now. And I gave you 3, actually more like 4 plus a bonus, steps of how you get to be in your power during it. And so I hope that you check out this replay if you're just joining us now. And if you've been with me, checking this, receiving this transmission from me to you today, blessings to you. And I'm so glad you were able to join us. And yeah, this is our time. This is your time. And what are you doing to allow yourself to embody yourself in the fullness of who you are? Because that imagery exercise that I gave you earlier today about envisioning, what it looks like when you're fully full on and in your power and in your light and, helping people and making impact, that comes from showing up. That comes from doing the uncomfortable things. That comes from, upgrading yourself internally. That comes from upgrading yourself internally, doing the inner work so that you can really rise up in your own life and also help others to rise up too. And, for a lot of people, that also looks like upgrading yourself through the inner work, through, even investing in yourself with people who are aligned with what you're trying to create in the world. Hi, Felicia. Good to see you here. Yes, she's saying, thank you. So powerful to connect with this reminder. Life is now. Absolutely. And hi, Natalie. Good to see you. Yes, we're actually just wrapping up now. But thank you so much for being here at today's live. Just know that on Instagram, it will be on IGTV in the next few moments. And on Facebook, it's going to be in the videos section. So I hope that you have a wonderful week this week. Keep in mind about what this wake up call is about and start noticing where the distractions are being inserted in your life and point them out, call them out to yourself. Call them out to yourself and be like, I see you. I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not getting distracted. Right? Call it out. And when you call it out, you actually kind of take the power away. You know, it's kind of like that same thing of when you've got the story and you kind of like don't talk about it because you're like, whether it's like feeling shame or guilt or you're embarrassed or whatever it is, right? That story has power over you. Same thing with the distraction frequencies that are being inserted into the collective right now. They're being purposely inserted to distract you from your power, from concentrating on yourself, from being embodied in your light. And so when you start noticing that you're getting distracted and you're getting a little off course, notice that immediately and check it and say, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. That's how you start. You start questioning it. So allow yourself to have a healthy questioning and critical thinking of what's going on in the world. Allow yourself to embody all of your power. And, you know, I shared some of those techniques. If you want to accelerate yourself in that process and really be embodied and activated in your divine power on the DNA level, DM me, let me know. And have a wonderful rest of the week, everyone. Much love, light, and power to you.